ghosts, spirits, poltergeists, ghouls, goblins, demons, angels, supernatural entities. These are words to explain the different types of unnatural sources that haunt and roam our realm. My name is Bradley. Since I have experienced these types of entities firsthand, I believe it is time to show that experiences like this are not as uncommon as the gatekeepers want you to think. Now, whether you believe in these things or not, it doesn't mean they don't believe in you. Welcome to the other side of shadows.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Other Side of Shadows, where we tell gruesome, haunting tales of the world that most have chose to ignore, but some of us can actually see. So welcome to the realm of shadows, you shadow watchers. I think that might be what I call people who actually listen to me on this podcast. So here we go. Before I get into the haunting tale of Liberty Hall that is located in Frankfort, Kentucky. Like I said, I'm going to start with a ghostly experience I have had myself. So when a lot of my stories, or at least the first couple ones, are going to take place at around the same time frame as my first one I told you guys about. It's, when I was, in my teen years. So this next episode and today I'm going to try and not hit my cord as well as not move my chair. So this experience that I'm about to tell you about, like I said, it was all within the time frame of when my grandma was sick. The spirits were going nuts apparently with this one. So there was one day, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and this was actually during the daytime, which makes this even more different for me. I'm pretty sure it's still like a little chilly outside, possibly. It might have been like toward the end of summer, if I'm not mistaken. And this nice little story here, I had just gotten off the school bus. This was before, of course, before I had my license when I was 16, so I know I was, teenager. My home had a desktop computer that I would get onto, just to randomly chat with people, and I think this was right after dial-up, so some of you may not know what that is, but I'm pretty sure this was right after dial-up was starting to go extinct and everybody was getting the high speed. Possibly. I really don't remember. It's been so long ago. But I remember when we first got internet, it was dial-up and go beep, 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 and you couldn't even make any phone calls. So kudos to the ones who remember that day and age, and aren't we lucky that we don't have to deal with that anymore. But anyways, so in my childhood home, we had in the living room, it was a decent sized living room. The computer was against the wall with the screen, of course, facing in this direction, and so I mean, if you sat in the computer chair, toward the left against the wall would be a couch, and directly behind the spot where I was sitting was our front door. So I had just got off the bus, and I tried to be quiet walking into the living room because my brother at the time, he was working third shift at a factory. I'm pretty sure he's 5 years older than me. Yeah, 5 years older than me. And he was asleep on the couch, covered in a blanket, just snoozing away. And my one of my other brothers, I've got a bunch, he had already went to his room, and I think he was listening to music or whatever. But as I was sitting there at the computer desk, I think I was checking MSN Messenger when that was the thing, because that's where me and all my friends would talk all the time, was MSN Messenger. We had cell phones, but it wasn't the Facebook Messenger wasn't out yet. Yahoo was, MSN Messenger was. I think AOL was the hit, and MySpace I think was in at that time, if I'm not mistaken. But so I was sitting in the chair, and I was, like I said, I think I was on MSN Messenger, and like I said, it was just a normal sunny day. And as I was sitting there, I felt this weird sensation. It wasn't like the one I told you about the first time. It wasn't the chills going up my arm and into my spine. My hair wasn't standing up, but it was like something was there, and like a set of eyes was watching you. But it wasn't a terrifying feeling. It was just more of a, I know something's there type feeling. So I turned around to see if maybe my brother was awake, but of course he was crashed out. This is like maybe 3:30 in the afternoon. So when I turn around, I look to the front door of our living room, and then the door was a white door, and it had the windows where it was like 3, 3, and 3. So in the bottom left corner window, like I said, the windows were, stationed roughly, I want to say 5 to 8 inches, tall maybe. But I looked through that left corner, bottom corner window, and there was a face that was just smiling, and it had kind of like a pink hue to it. And I saw the face, and then when it saw me staring at it, it took off running, and not, maybe a feet or two from the actual door, we had a window that was pretty decent size. And I saw the pink streak just go right across the window. And I stood up from the computer chair, and I opened up the front door and looked, and there was nothing there. My first thought was maybe it was one of my nieces, because they lived in a double wide that was behind us in our field. And sometimes after school they would come up there, and hang out, whatever. We'd watch cartoons together or whatever show. So I picked up my phone, or I picked up the house phone, and I called who was my sister-in-law at the time. So I called her, and I asked her if either one of my nieces had, come up toward the house since we've been home from school. She said no. They have been inside in their living room the entire time. So it got me thinking. What would have been at the front door? I really don't know, but I do know that face was a girl's face. The thing is, though, I was not scared. I don't know, maybe it was the smile, and the smile was clear as day. Like, you could see the big beautiful eyes and the very happy smile. It wasn't the creepy one that you see in horror movies. It was a genuine smile. So I didn't know if maybe my mind was playing tricks on me, like the saying goes, or everybody will tell you. But the thing is, if that's the case, why would I have seen it run across the window? On the outside, on the other side of the window. Why would I have seen it run that way, or seen her run that way? So I don't know who it was. I don't know why. Maybe they were just checking in on me, making sure I was okay, or I don't know. But ghost experiences are a little scary, but this one, it had me a moment to where it did, give me a slight chill, but it was more, I got more of the feeling of, I guess I can say, joy. because I don't know, maybe it was just somebody that was roaming around in the in our yard from the heavens, or a lost spirit. I mean, I'm not sure, but I hit my notebook. But yeah, I mean, it was not a terrifying experience. It was a very calm and loving type feel. So, but yeah, that was my second experience with the supernatural. I got plenty more to tell you. So, anyways, going away from my story, we are going to dive straight into the Frankfort. I was going to say Lexington, the Frankfort, Kentucky Liberty Hall spirit stories. Now, the first one that has been reported more and more, even when tours are happening, people have seen this lovely spirit. And apparently this spirit is not, a haunting one. It's not an evil one. It's literally just, the saying is that she keeps her promise with watching over the Liberty Hall, which was her and her family. But they call this woman the Gray Lady. Now, the Gray Lady is mostly seen from the Palladian. There's an I in it, so I'm going to say Palladian. The Palladian window at Liberty Hall. And she is based on a real person named Margareta Varick. Now, the story behind Margareta is sad. I mean, she was hoping to travel, and unfortunately, she passed away too soon. I'll say it that way. But Varick was traveling from New York to see her son in Illinois when she stopped in Frankfort to see her niece that was also named Margareta. And this Margareta was actually the wife of one of the founding fathers of Kentucky, John Brown. Poor Margareta, she actually died 3 days after arriving at the Liberty Hall on July 28th of 1817. Margareta became violently ill one night and died before the sun could even rise. There was no cause of death actually determined, but they say that it was highly possible that it was either due to a heart attack, exhaustion from the travel, or an acute indigestion. So it wasn't a couple of days after she was visiting her niece, she passed away. And she promised to look after the place while she was there, and I'm pretty sure she's probably just still upholding her promise. That could be why she's hanging around Liberty Hall. But the first recorded sighting of Miss Varick was in the 1880s. Now, she passed away in 1817. But it says first recorded sighting was in the 1880s in the southwest upstairs bedroom. Excuse me. It says a Mary Scott was sleeping in that bedroom that Margareta passed away in. She awoke to see an apparition of a tall woman wearing gray, hence the name the Gray Lady. After her deafening screams caused her brother to rush into the room with a shotgun, the ghost was already gone. So, her brother just completely busted in that door ready to kill somebody. But Miss Varick was already gone. For 3 consecutive nights, Miss Varick appeared in that bedroom, haunting Mary Scott. But after all the consecutive appearances, Varick's spirit was actually dubbed as our beloved ghost, and she still has that name to this day. When people visit Liberty Hall for the tours, and the story of Margareta, that's what they identify her as our beloved ghost, because she does not harm, she does not try to scare, she literally roams Liberty Hall, I guess, to watch over it. And that's the kind of ghost I like right there. That's the one that everybody needs is someone as a guardian, a good watchful eye to make sure everybody stays safe. But the family and the guests of Miss Margareta continue to have sightings in and around the bedroom in the early 20th century. Stories of the Gray Lady continue to this day. Most believe the reason she still roams the hall is because her body is buried on the grounds. The entire family, the entire Brown family, were re-entered into the Frankfort Cemetery in the late 1840s, when the cemetery was incorporated in 1844. The family may have been buried on the ground of Liberty Hall, but there is no grave marker for Margareta Varick. In 1965, a photograph was taken revealing an apparition on the staircase of Margareta Varick. So, it even goes. There's even stories of when people are on tours. They reenact the Gray Lady. To bring in more eyes and more people to come and be a part of history and of Liberty Hall, because Liberty Hall is literally one of the first buildings, I'm pretty sure, of Frankfort, and that's where the founding father, John Brown, resided in, and him and his family. So, to get more historic viewership, I guess I should say, they bring forth the story of the Gray Lady at Liberty Hall, and that way people can enjoy their time as they're touring, Frankfort. But the Gray Lady is not the only spirit that roams Liberty Hall. There's another one. She doesn't have a name, and this one's a little bit more terrifying, but you feel bad for her with the story that I have read toward this spirit. So, but this next one is the opera singer, and it says Liberty Hall is tied to another ghost story of a Spanish opera star who disappeared on the grounds in the early 1800s. The star was said to be attending a grand party at the hall in 1805. Last seen strolling through the gardens in direction towards the river, but she never returned. No one knows what happened. She just simply disappeared. And there's not even a name listed of this opera singer. But the reason, they know she's an opera singer is because I guess she was the only one that did not check out of that hall that night. But what is more terrifying is it says she is, they say she was abducted. That's the story that they're going with, because they honestly don't know, but I mean it's more than likely true. But it says that her ghost is to be said that she runs through the gardens as a dark-haired woman with her mouth frozen open in a silent scream. I feel bad for this spirit. I really do. I mean, it would be extremely terrifying to just be going through the gardens and all of a sudden you turn and you see a very defined apparition with their mouth wide open. That's stuff in horror movies. That's in a lot of horror movies. So, but they don't say that she tries to harm you. It's just she's been sighted, and so I mean, if anybody goes to actually research and try and catch a glimpse of the poor opera singer, I guess try and keep in mind that she's not a vengeful spirit, because no one's ever reported any type of activity of that nature. So, but do not let her I guess her facial expression terrify you because I mean maybe she's trying to get someone to help her figure out what happened, or have someone solve what happened to her so that way maybe she can rest in peace. But yeah, the opera singer, unfortunately, like she disappeared and no one had ever seen her again. I mean, it's a possibility that, okay, because it says that her face is frozen with a wide mouth, and depending on the actual season or month of when the grand party was held, which it doesn't say, it just says 1805. So, say if it was like February or late November, if she would have strolled through the gardens to the river and fell in, I mean, that would have been something to literally have a frozen face for. And, they didn't have the search parties and the technology, of course, back in the 1800s like we do. So there was really no combing the area or having the whole ground sonar stuff where you can penetrate the soil or, look through the water to see anything. So, I mean, honestly, she could have just fell in the river or been attacked and threw in the river. I mean, there is honestly no telling what has happened to this opera singer, and it's horrible. Things like that happen a lot, and there is no telling how many apparitions and spirits and ghosts roam around in order to help find closure because of stuff like this. I mean, we only see what they want us to see. So there is honestly no telling how many are actually out there trying to figure out a way to find closure and actually rest in peace. And maybe it's up to people like us to help them. I don't know. But maybe one day we can actually help one of them. Who knows? But going on to the last spirit of Liberty Hall. Like when I chose this topic, it said 2, but I found 3. So the third spirit, and this one's a sad story too. Like each of these are sad, but this one is called the Spectral Soldier. A British soldier from the war of 1812 has been seen on the property of Liberty Hall. So the story, or the legend goes, or the lore, we'll say legend. The legend goes that it is told that the soldier had fallen in love with a cousin of the Brown family, but the love was not returned. The soldier, it does not say how he actually died either, but it says the soldier has been spotted standing outside, looking through the windows, trying to find the one he fell in love with. But unfortunately, and this part is horrible, since he never sees his love, he is said to start crying and he walks away. So unfortunately, unless you can get a medium or someone who can actually speak to the dead, sorry about my chair, he may never find peace until the end of days. And that is horrible. I mean, I'm hoping this soldier was a good guy. So, okay, I'll let you all in a little secret. If you're watching this on YouTube and you see me kind of turn my head or, just kind of randomly look somewhere, it's because of what I said during the first episode. I believe if you talk about this stuff, it finds a way to you. So I'm constantly looking behind me. And when I'm here by myself, that's when it's worse. My anxiety and my stress gets up. But all this stuff is just so curious and so fascinating. I can't help but continue. So yeah, don't think anything of it if you see me randomly turn my head. It's literally something that I have to do, or otherwise I can't focus. But yeah, that was the 3 spirits of Liberty Hall. So maybe one day these spirits can find peace. I mean, maybe the Gray Lady has found peace, but she's keeping her promise. She's watching over Liberty Hall as years go by. Now, this ain't a long episode as well, and I thought I'd have more, but apparently not. So I believe what I'm going to start doing is finding 2 things to research and put together for one whole episode, because I don't know, I could talk about this stuff a lot. As I confessed in the first episode, I don't talk about this stuff at home, but yet here I am at home talking about this stuff. So yeah. So next week, like I said, these episodes are going to be coming out on Fridays, every week on Friday. But next week, I haven't got a topic down yet. I am going to do some research over the weekend to try and find more, and I'm going to try and venture out of Kentucky for this next one, because this is about experiences all across the world, and I'm hoping, I'm getting hot, I'm hoping I can find people who have had experiences with this kind of stuff, and bring them on. So we shall see. But that is the stories of Liberty Hall here on the other side of shadows. I hope you enjoyed those tales. I hope I have intrigued you enough to actually do some research on your own. And if you find any more information about anything that I've talked about, please let me know, because I would love to learn more, especially about the British soldier and the opera singer. I know there's probably not much out there, because these spirits are from the 1800s, and there's not a lot of ways to figure that stuff out unless you look in a history book, and we all know that history is placed into stuff the way they want us to see it. So I'm honestly thinking about going to the local library and getting a book. That's my phone, and that scared the piss out of me. Oh my god. Hold on. Oh man. Okay, so I've turned off my notifications, my sounds for my phone, because a lot of times, I'm pretty sure if any of you have tuned into any of my podcasts, you have heard my phone go off a couple times, because sometimes I do forget. And while I was talking into the microphone, my phone goes, and with my arms being on the desk, it was just a big vibration, and it scared the shit out of me. That's what happens with me when it comes to this crap. Just something small like that will jar my ass, and it's ridiculous. But yes, that is all for the other side of shadows, or this episode anyways, not for the whole podcast. So for the ones that's like, oh my gosh, no, I promise I'll be back, if there is anybody. But yes, that is it for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We are on all kinds of platforms, and like I say, if you have a story you want to tell me or an experience, I see that calendar behind me and it's freaking me out, but it's my ceiling fan in the kitchen making it move. I'm not trying to play a prank. It's just sometimes I catch it out of the corner of my eye and it's like, oh god. But everything's good. But anyways, thank you guys very much. You can email me at creatorsdementia.com. Excuse me, I got choked. Luckily, everything's fine. So yeah, everything's good. Once again, thank you guys very much, and I hope you tune in next week for another spooky, scary story. If any of mine have been spooky or scary, I don't know. We'll just say a piece of spiritual history. Be good, Shadow Watchers. Have a great weekend. Stay blessed, stay protected, and stay open. The Other Side of Shadows is brought to you by Hidden Hollow Productions. Thank you for your eyes and ears as we take a look into the other side. Many unexplained occurrences are reported each and every day by the ones chosen to tell a story. If you have a story to tell, feel free to email me at creatorsdementia@gmail.com. Until next time, stay protected and stay open.